Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in forever, and that's probably because I haven't. I think the last video that I posted was the Easter basket video for our girls, and I filmed that in March, so I don't think I've filmed anything since then. But I have been trying to do monthly Let's Chat videos that you guys seem to really enjoy, and so that's what I'm going to be filming for you guys today, just to kind of catch you up on what's been going on the last month and a half or so. And then also asking you guys how you've been. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to, but trying to get right into it. First thing is, if you watched any of my previous Let's Chat videos, I talked a lot about how my husband had actually lost his job the week before Christmas, and he was unemployed for 4.5 months. So there was a lot of talk, I think in the last Let's Chat in particular, about the struggle we were having with working with unemployment insurance, and you know, he's the primary breadwinner, so like trying to prioritize what we needed to do for the family and where we were going to put our money, just different things. So if you want to kind of hear more about that and how that played out, then definitely check out those videos. I'll link them for you. But good news to say for you guys that a lot of you guys have asked and you've prayed for us, which I really appreciate. He did actually get a job, and last week as I'm filming this was his first week. So that in itself is a blessing. And one thing I want to say is, through the process of the 4.5 months that he was unemployed, I was really amazed at how God provided, and we were able to do and have everything we needed. And you know, so just, and some of that has to do with just smart planning on our part as far as like saving money for things that might happen, you know, unexpectedly. But we were still able to keep up with our tithing. He did finally get unemployment insurance, so that was helpful. And just other things that happened along the way that were really helpful. So I really appreciate God's grace in that situation. And then also leading him to the job that he did get, I feel very much was a God thing as well. I won't go into the circumstances of it, except for this to say that the job that he ended up getting was with somebody that he has worked with before. And that person actually reached out to my husband and basically offered him the job without him even knowing it was a job that was available, without him really having to go through like a big huge process, and like nobody else as far as I know was considered. So I really feel like that in itself also was a God thing. One thing that it will be very, very, very different for us is the schedule is completely different. He's been in the car business now for 18 or 19 years. And so if you know anything about the car business, it's very long hours most of the time. At least one day of the weekend you're going to be working, a lot of holidays you have to work and things like that. And so that's really been the experience that we've had our entire marriage. I mean, pretty much. We've been married almost 22 years, and he's been in that business for, you know, a long time. This new job, a couple things that are really stand out to me about it is it's a 9-to-5 job. He has never in his entire life had a 9-to-5 job. He's either worked retail or he's worked in the car business. So a 9-to-5 is just something that like he and I both, like, we just can't even wrap our brain around a 9-to-5 job. It's Monday through Friday, so he's off on weekends. He has never been off on weekends the entire time we've been married. He may every now and again get an occasional Saturday if like he was taking his vacation time and like we're on a trip or something, but otherwise having weekends off has never been a thing that we've ever known. And then now also he is working from home. So we have this person, you know, who has been going outside the home all these years, all these hours, being gone and missing so many things, and now he's going to be home. And so there's a lot to do logistically as far as like getting him a good space to work from, kind of reprogramming me and the girls, because we homeschool and we're here, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so like the noises that we make throughout the day of just like vacuuming or like calling for each other from one flight of stairs down the stairs to the other, you know, just things like that we're going to have to like retrain ourselves as well. So for us, for other people it might not seem that monumental, but for us it is an incredibly, it could not be more different than the lifestyle that we have known pretty much the entire time. So I'm really encouraged by it. I think it will really be good for our family after we get kind of the initial like growing pains out of the way, like getting him set up and kind of retraining ourselves. And like where he's going to be working is also the playroom, and that's where my oldest daughter has like her musical instruments, and she has her desk and where she gets ready in the daytime, you know, to get ready for the day and stuff. So we're going to have to figure some things out But I think it's okay. It'll work itself out. And I think that's a really huge thing for us. And it's a really big blessing. So for all of you guys who have prayed for us and sent your well wishes, we really appreciate it. It really has meant a lot to us. And it definitely was a lesson in faith and trying to keep our eyes on God and his ways and how he has plans for us and all those things. So that's the first bit of news that I wanted to share. In that time though that he wasn't working, I did mention this in the other video, I really like to be, especially at the beginning of the year, I really like to like go in strong and like prioritize and plan home projects and repairs that we need to do and things like that. And so that's really had taken a back burner to obviously him not having a job and not wanting to spend a bunch of money on things. So what I had been doing over the last couple of months is really just kind of diving into things that cost little to no money at all. And mostly for me, that was reorganizing, decluttering. I started working on my office / homeschool room, getting that worked on. We redid the playroom partially. It will have to be finished once we get his desk and everything set up. But I had already started working on the playroom before he even got that job, of like purging things, moving furniture around, trying to make maybe a more communal space, because even though we call it the playroom, it's kind of a multi-purpose room, and I wanted to maybe get a spot up there for like a love seat, so when the girls have friends over, they have another place to go, just stuff like that. So I was working on that. Obviously didn't buy a love seat, but like kind of moving things around, making space for that in the future, and just really working on things around the house that don't cost any money. So that's really kind of what I've been spending my time doing. And I'm really proud of myself. I realize that reading the Bible through is not necessarily something that other people think is important or even is on their radar. But as somebody who is a Christian and has been a Christian pretty much my whole life, and I've read devotionals and I've read bits and pieces from the Bible at different times, but I had never actually set out with the intention of reading the whole thing. And so better late than never. Almost 45, and I finished it. And I don't know what my plans are as far as that, reading it. And a lot of people will loop back and start over, and I may do that at some point. But right now, what I really wanted to do was take a little bit of a break from that and focus on different people in the Bible that I found interesting, or maybe storylines, or both. And so I really enjoyed Paul, who was also known as Saul of Tarsus. I really enjoyed his story. I really enjoyed his letters to the church. I just really was inspired by him as a person. And so I knew that was probably, other than Jesus, was the first person that I wanted to do a deeper study of. And so I actually found this book that I'm reading. I'm about halfway through. It is A Man of Grace and Grit, Paul. Profiles in Character from Charles Swindoll. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Swindoll. I hate to say swindle because that sounds like you're, trying to cheat somebody. But he's actually a pastor, and he's written a whole bunch of books. Actually, this is a whole part of a series that he's written, and I didn't realize that when I bought this one, because he does have one about Jesus, which I definitely have on my list to read next. But I love his writing style. I've been really impressed by this, and I bought actually a couple different books, and I was like flipping through them, and I've looked for other religious books over the years, different topics, different authors, and a lot of times I find that I want to learn, but I also don't want to be overwhelmed by, big theological words or terms or things that are not kind of put in the layman's realm, which basically is me. I'm not a seminary student, and so I really like the way that this is written, because it's very attainable, it's very bite-sized, and he mixes in obviously biblical scripture with modern day relevancy, and then throwing that in, like, how did this affect Paul, or how did Paul handle this? I might not be explaining that very well, but just trust me, it's a very, very good book, and there's a bunch of different books in this series. So that's kind of where my brain is at, where I'm headed. And so once I finish this, I do plan to read the one about Jesus, and then I'll just take it one book at a time about what I want to do going forward. But I really enjoyed that. I was really proud of myself. It was a big accomplishment for me, because I had started reading the Bible several times in the last 4 or 5 years, and every time I kind of gave up. So finally finished that. And then one thing that I have added to my life, my fitness routine, my health and wellness routine, is a wellness tracking ring. If you've probably heard of some of these rings that kind of like check your heart rate and things like that. I particularly was interested in something that would help me with my sleep. I've been struggling a lot with sleep the last couple years in particular. I know heading into, early menopause, I'm not there yet, but I know it's coming for me. I really wanted something to help me, like, really figure out how much sleep am I getting and how much of my sleep is actually quality. maybe when I'm working out, you know, where is my heart rate? Which zone am I in? Am I pushing myself hard enough, or do I need to take a step back? So I've actually been wearing the Ultra Human Air ring, and the name Air definitely makes perfect sense once you try it on, because it is very light. And I was worried about that because I'm not used to wearing rings. And if you guys have seen one of my other Let's Chat videos, I talked about how that I haven't even been wearing my wedding ring lately, because when I do go to the gym, if I'm lifting weights that day, it actually pushes against my finger. So I wouldn't wear my wedding ring, and I wouldn't wear the Ultra Human Air ring if I was doing a strength workout, because I just feel like it does get in the way for me. But if I'm doing cardio, if I'm walking, if I'm sleeping, if I'm just kind of meandering around the house doing normal daily things, it's been really interesting for me, again, as I said, specifically to track my sleep. It's also really great for your recovery. You can even put in your menstrual cycle, and it will help track where you are in your menstrual phase, which I knew nothing about. I guess I'm not a very good woman because I didn't know anything about the different phases. I just know when I have that happen, and then I kind of wait till the next month for it to happen again. But it will help you based on your temperature and other factors that you put in the beginning when you first set it up on the app. It will help you tell you what part of your cycle that you're in and things like that. For me, the sleep, like I said, I was seeing now how much sleep I'm getting and how much of that sleep is actually in a deep sleep cycle, and when that actually even happens, like down to the time frame of maybe 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And then it will make suggestions for me of like things that I can do to try to get better sleep. And same thing with moving. If it senses that I'm not moving around enough a certain day or a certain time, it will make suggestions of things that I can do to get up and move around, get my heart rate up, things like that. My favorite thing about the Ultra Human Air ring, other than, you know, just the features that it has, is the fact that the app, you don't have to pay for. Like, it's free. Some of the other wellness tracking rings, you do have to pay for an app to be able to read and get your metrics. And you don't have to do that with the Ultra Human Air. So I really appreciate that, because I'm not the type of person that wants to buy something or have something and then have to buy something else for that thing. I feel like when you purchase something, that should include, for the most part, most of the things that you need to use it fully. And you do have that with the Ultra Human app. So that's been a fun addition to my life lately. And then just overall, you know, now that he has a job, going back to that, just trying to, you know, I feel like we did lose a couple months as far as maybe being able to do what we would normally do, home improvement wise, family wise, trip wise, things like that. So now I'm trying, that he has started to kind of wrap my brain around. I've got a list already of things to do and things to buy. I've even got it broken up into to buy, to do. I think he and I need to have like a little planning session and figure out for us like what's priority, what's realistic that we can do sooner than something else. Maybe some jobs that he sees that he's like, yeah, I can take full control of that, or things that I'm gonna handle, or things we're gonna have to do together. Just kind of catching up over the last 4.5 months. And that's really what it has been. It's just now basically, I hate to say catch up, because, you know, do you ever really catch up? I don't know. But like just really trying to go forward now, since so many things were kind of on hold over the last couple months. But I'm really excited because as I'm filming this, it's the first week of May, and our homeschool year has finished. It actually finished last week. So that's good. So 9th grade is in the books. Looking forward to possibly doing a co-op of some sort for her in the fall. I've already pretty much picked out every curriculum that we're going to be using for her core subjects. I just have to fill in a few electives and things like that. I have a lot of grading to do over the summer because I did not really do any grading significantly through the school year. So I'll have a lot of grading to do over the summer, putting that in the report card, and like start generating that beginnings of a transcript. So I've done this before. This is my second homeschool high school child. So I have an idea of what I'm doing. I kind of have the framework built up. I just have to kind of go in and like put those pieces into action, because, you know, it's not something I was thinking about in middle school necessarily, but now we're in high school and it's definitely time to think about that kind of stuff. So working towards that. I have a lot of home projects to do around the house that aren't necessarily big projects, but just like a lot of those things that like maintenance, upkeep things that I'm excited to work towards and work on over the summer. Still continuing to go to the gym. That's been a really big, I mean, that's been a part of my life now for quite a while, and really trying to improve my strength, which I have seen quite a few improvements in my strength lately. So I'm really excited about that progress. And like I mentioned in one of my other Let's Chat videos, I'm hoping to get another body scan, hopefully in July after I'm 45. Basically they scan you and it tells you how much of your body is fat and muscle and water and bone and all those things. And so obviously I'm looking mostly just at the fat part of it, like trying to reduce body fat and then increase muscle mass. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done in July again, to kind of see where how far I've come and how much progress I've made or not in the last couple months. So I'm excited about that. So other than that, that's pretty much all there is to tell you guys that you've missed over the last month or so, and just kind of sit down with you guys and chat. So let me know what you guys have been up to. If you homeschool, when is your homeschool year over? If your kids are public schools, when is that coming to an end? Do you have any trips planned for the summer? I don't know that we'll go anywhere. If we do, it won't be anywhere significant for the summer at least, because, you know, he did just get started in the job. We really need to get him settled there. I'm not really even sure when he would be eligible to take a vacation anyway. So if we did, it would probably be, you know, just a weekend thing, maybe somewhere close, and then maybe think later on in the fall or winter, maybe go somewhere a little farther away. But all that just kind of depends on his work and trying to kind of recoup from not really having any significant income over the last couple months. It's gonna take a while to kind of get back in this new groove, figuring out his new salary. There's a lot of it that's commission also, so like trying to balance that out, which is not unheard of for us. We're used to a mix of salary and commission. It's just a different salary and commission than we're used to. So just trying to navigate all those new things kind of coming at us, and it's not anything that we can't handle. It's just sometimes it takes a while to figure that out. So I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this month's Let's Chat video. I'll also link the Elder Human Air Ring for you guys. I have a discount code if you're interested. It does really help to give you insights into what your strengths already are, maybe where you could improve and grow and learn. And that's really what, you know, part of a health and wellness journey is. It is a journey. It's learning, it's always changing, and it's trying to build on success and progress that you've made and continue forward with that. And I think it's just a really nice way to help with that. So I will link that for you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.